I built an AI travel assistant to help people plan better Italy trips. And initially, it took me less than an hour to create it. Of course, I've had some practice with it, but there was no coding, didn't require any technical background, just Chat GPT's custom GPT builder and a clear understanding of what travelers actually need. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built Lucia AI, the prompts, the structure, the knowledge base. So you can either use Lucia for your own trip or build something similar for your own niche. So let's go ahead and dive in. You see here the initial welcome screen or landing page, if you will, of the Italy Travel Concierge, Lucia. And it gives you some sample or options in terms of conversation starters. There's one, two, three, four. And these are all adjustable, changeable, editable, but just a way to get the conversation started easily for a new user. You can see here, hi, I'm Lucia, your travel agent or travel concierge. Is my Italy itinerary realistic for the time I have? I'm visiting the Italian Riviera. Where should I stay? What's the best way to get between cities or villages? And then you can also just type whatever you want right here in the initial prompt box. So the conversation starters help you get started. So here's the problem I was trying to solve. I really did this for my own benefit initially, and then as it evolved, it became clear it could potentially help other travelers planning a trip to this part of Italy. So when you ask Chat GPT, just Chat GPT, I'll call it generic to plan an Italy trip, you get good advice. It's accurate, it's helpful, but it's generic. It tells you to visit certain places and eat certain food and book trains in advance, but not particularly useful if you're trying to avoid tourist traps or figure out where to actually stay in a particular area like Cinque Terre. What I wanted was an AI that understood things like the difference between staying in Cinque Terre versus La Spezia, why July is actually not a best time to visit, how to balance popular spots with hidden gems, logistics that guidebooks skip over. So I built Lucia, a custom GPT trained specifically on Italy travel with local knowledge, practical logistics, and the kind of advice that you get from someone who's actually planned these trips, kind of like talking to an actual real live travel agent person who's been there. And the best part, you can use it right now. You can use it for free. There's no login required. I'll provide the link in the description and you can just try it out. And let me show you how I built it. I think that's really the main purpose of this introductory video is so you kind of get a sense for what it takes to build something like this. So building a custom GPT comes down to four fields, and that's it. The four fields, I'm going to go ahead and edit the GPT, and I'm going to go into configure, are the name of the custom GPT, in this case, Lucia, Italy Travel Concierge. That can be whatever you want it to be. I can change it at any time. It's the description, who's it for and what does it do? In this case, it's a Clarity First Italy travel concierge specializing in the Italian Riviera and designed for realistic travel plans. Instructions. This is the brain. The most important part are these instructions right here. And I can expand this so that it's a little bit easier to both read and work with and refine. I'm not going to go through all these because they're pretty extensive and have evolved significantly over time. And I won't go into all that now because that would take too long and it's better for a later video. But let me just show you, again, what I put in, and then what happens. So again, we've got the name here, simple, clear, tells you exactly what it is. And then the description, simple, clear, tells you what it is, your personal Italy travel planner, get practical advice, etc. And this tells ChatGPT who the audience is and what kind of responses to give. And here's where it gets interesting, the instructions. The instructions field is where you define how your custom GPT thinks and responds. For Lucia, I wanted three things. I wanted the thinking and the responses to be practical, not poetic, not flowery language, but just useful advice. I wanted the instructions to provide local knowledge, understand the nuances of Italian travel. And I wanted it to be conversational, ask questions, understand context, adapt to the traveler. Very important. So here's what I wrote. And again, let me go ahead and expand this again. You are Lucia, an Italy travel concierge with deep specialization in the Italian Riviera. And the approach is, I'm telling Lucia, the agent, this, ask clarifying questions, understand the traveler's priorities, provide specific actionable recommendations, explain the why behind your suggestions. So you can see now how this is beginning to differ from just a standard generic chat GPT. It gets key knowledge. Key knowledge areas are things like where to stay, timing, best months, crowd levels, weather considerations, logistics, train schedules, booking strategies, budget, where to splurge, where to save, hidden gems, less touristy alternatives to popular spots. And then you see here in this section, core principles, accuracy over completeness. Use live web browsing when information may change. This was very important and kind of a story behind this particular element, which is very instructive, but key being that this custom GPT agent, it not only operates within itself, but it can go out and seek information by browsing the web. Super important. The tone for the GPT in dealing with the user is to be helpful and knowledgeable, not salesy, practical and honest about trade-offs, conversational, like you're talking to a friend who knows Italy. And then it gets into its specialization. Again, fine-tuning and drilling down on how the agent is to think and how it is to communicate. And then there's some guardrails, what not to do. Tell the agent how to think and what not to do, like don't give generic advice that applies to any destination. Don't recommend things without explaining why. Don't ignore the traveler's constraints, budget, time, mobility. Different travelers have different levels of mobility, ability to climb stairs as a great example. Don't be overly formal or use travel brochure language. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know what to put into the instructions? Great question. And here's the process I used. Start by writing down the problems that you're trying to solve. For Lucia, generic advice, tourist traps, logistics confusion. Those are the problems that the agent is supposed to try and solve. Define the tone for Lucia. It's helpful friend, not travel agent. List the key knowledge areas for Lucia, where to stay, timing, logistics, budget. And then, as I mentioned, add guardrails, what not to do. For Lucia, no generic advice, no sales language. And then just write it in plain English. ChatGPT understands natural language. You don't need to code or use special syntax. The instructions are the most important part. If you get this right, your custom GPT will be 80% of the way there. And then section 4, we'll close this for now and kind of move down in the setup to what is referred to as the knowledge area. This is where it gets really interesting, where this section, which is optional, you don't have to do it, but it's what makes the custom GPT uh, not just a good tool or agent, but a great agent. And this is where you, for example, upload files that give your GPT specialized information it wouldn't otherwise have. For Lucia, I uploaded, um, for example, an Italy travel guide that I'd written. Logistics document is another example. Train schedules, hotel recommendations. Budget breakdowns is another useful knowledge document for different trip styles. People like to travel differently and at different levels, different styles. And then perhaps even a document that outlines common mistakes travelers make and how to avoid them. You can upload these knowledge documents by clicking on this upload button and simply pulling in PDFs, text files, notepad text files, Word documents, spreadsheets. It's pretty flexible. And then ChatGPT reads these files and uses them to answer questions. It's really quite fascinating. So, for example, when someone asks, where should I stay in Cinque Terre, Lucia doesn't just give generic advice. It references the specific logistics document I uploaded, which explains the pros and the cons of each village, nearby alternatives, and booking strategies. This is what makes Lucia feel like a specialist, not just a general AI. So if you're building a custom GPT for your own niche, think about what specialized knowledge you have that ChatGPT doesn't. That's what goes in the knowledge section. That's what differentiates it from a generic GPT. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about testing, which I have found to be not only important, but critical. Once you've filled in these fields, you test it. And here's the truth. Your first version will not be perfect. It won't be anywhere near it. When I first built Lucia, it was giving advice that was too broad, for example. It would say things like Cinque Terre is beautiful. You should visit without explaining the logistics or trade-offs. So I went back to the instructions and added, always explain the trade-offs. If you recommend staying somewhere, also mention an alternative that's cheaper and has better train connections. Help travelers make informed decisions, informed decisions. Immediately, the responses got better. The key is test it, see where it falls short, update the instructions, test it again, and have other people test it. You'd be amazed at what other people will see, experience, and comment on that you may have missed. I probably would refine Lucia's instructions, oh gosh, 10 maybe to 20 times before I was happy with it. It's an ongoing iterative process. And if you ask it the right questions, it's going to give you the right nuanced advice that actually helps people plan better trips and essentially avoid or minimize making travel mistakes. So now that you've seen how Lucia is built, if you're planning a trip to Italy, especially the Italian Riviera, you can use Lucia right now. It's pretty well evolved and will continue to get better as I learn things and as it learns things. You can go to my website, gearelevated.com/pages/Lucia and try it out. It's free, no login required. You can ask it anything about Italy travel. But just try asking something like, I have 5 days in the Italian Riviera. Where should I go? Uh, and see what it says. Let me just go ahead and do that right now so you can see that actually work. And then you can continue to dialogue. Great question with 5 days. But where you stay should match what you want to see, your travel style, relaxed seaside versus village hopping, and so forth. And gives option one, option two, option three, option four, option five, how to choose. You won't get any of this from a generic chat GPT conversation. Sample 5 day split, and then the opportunity to continue that conversation. So if you want help planning your trip, I can also offer consultation to use this more effectively. And if you want to build your own, that's kind of why I'm showing this so that you can do that as well. Uh, Start with a clear problem, define your tone, write the instructions in plain English, upload your specialized knowledge documents, whatever you decide they may be, test and refine, iterate, test and refine. So I'll wrap this up in closing. That's how I built Lucia, a custom GPT that's helped many plan better trips. And perhaps most importantly, in my mind, make less mistakes. That's the thing that really has been eye-opening for me is without this, I would be making mistakes that could be costly in terms of time and money. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it here, and we'll continue this later in a future video.